Prosper's life hangs in the balance as she faces unimaginable horrors in captivity. Meanwhile, Faith battles false accusations and a justice system bent against her. As the hidden secrets of betrayal begin to unravel, lives collide in a story of resilience, betrayal, and redemption. Will Prosper escape the grip of evil? Will Faith prove her innocence before it's too late? And what happens when the shocking truth shakes the very foundations of trust? This is the final chapter of Prosper's journey, a fight for survival, justice, and second chances. The scream echoed through the dark hallway, chilling Prosper to her bones. She sat upright in her small, dimly lit room, her braided hair clinging to her damp forehead. Her heart pounded as she listened to the muffled cries, growing louder and closer. She tried the door handle again, but it was locked from the outside. Desperation set in as the screams approached her room. With no escape, she quickly lay down and pretended to sleep, forcing her body to remain still despite the fear that gripped her. The door creaked open and heavy footsteps entered. Prosper's breath hitched as voices murmured behind her. "She's asleep," one voice whispered. "Leave her for now," said another, a tone of authority in their voice. As they left, Prosper's heart sank. One of the voices sounded familiar, but she couldn't turn to see who it was. The door locked behind them, and Prosper was left in silence, tears streaming down her face. The next morning, Prosper and the other girls were escorted to the bathroom. The guards, tall, stern women in uniforms, stood watch as the girls bathed. Prosper noticed something strange. Instead of 15, they were now 14. The girls began whispering among themselves, panic setting in. "Where is Tag 1?" one of them asked, her voice trembling. "Quiet!" a guard barked, raising her gun. "If any of you make a sound, you'll be the next to disappear." The warning silenced them, but the fear was palpable. As they returned to their rooms, Prosper couldn't shake the feeling that her time was running out. Back in school, the three girls who sold Prosper continued living their lives as if nothing had happened. They laughed in the hallways, attended classes, and acted completely innocent. Faith, on the other hand, was enduring a nightmare. Arrested and accused of being involved in Prosper's disappearance, she faced relentless questioning and harsh punishment. Her parents were advised to hire a lawyer, but the case seemed hopeless. All evidence pointed to Faith, and the authorities refused to believe her claims of innocence. One day, during a visit from her mother, Faith broke down. "Mama, I swear I don't know where Prosper is. I wasn't even with her that day." Her mother wiped her tears. "We believe you, my daughter, but without proof, they won't listen. You must stay strong." Faith nodded, but inside, she felt defeated. At the mansion, breakfast was served in the grand dining hall. Prosper and the other girls sat silently, too scared to eat. Suddenly, a woman entered the room. Her entire body and face were covered in a black veil, leaving only her piercing eyes visible. The woman's presence was suffocating. She motioned for the guards to speak, and one of them barked, "Each of you will tell your story. How were you brought here?" One by one, the girls spoke. 3 girls admitted they had been betrayed by someone they trusted. "We were meeting our sugar daddy," one said, her voice shaking. "But his driver handed us over to these people." 5 others explained they had been lured with promises of a party, only to be drugged and kidnapped. Another group shared how they had responded to a fake job interview, only to find themselves trapped. When it was Prosper's turn, she couldn't hold back her tears. I trusted my friends," she sobbed. "They sold me." The woman laughed, her voice cold and haunting. "Now you know. I don't take good girls. I only take the disobedient ones. Girls like you are meant to teach others a lesson." Meanwhile, Faith was taken to court for the first time. The judge, a stern woman with a sharp gaze, listened as the prosecutor laid out the case against her. Faith's lawyer argued that there was no solid evidence linking Faith to Prosper's disappearance. But the prosecutor countered, pointing out Faith's absence from class on the day Prosper went missing. Faith was asked to explain herself. "I was sick," she said, her voice trembling. "I stayed in my hostel that day." The judge raised an eyebrow. "And you didn't go to the clinic?" "No, Your Honor. I didn't think it was serious." The judge sighed. "Do you have any witnesses or evidence to support your claim?" Faith's mind raced. Then she remembered. She had made a long video call with her roommates that day. "I have evidence," she exclaimed. "I can prove I was in my room." The judge nodded. "You'll need to present it at the next hearing." Back at the mansion, Prosper overheard a chilling conversation. A man dressed in an expensive suit argued with the veiled woman. "They look terrible," he said angrily. "If their organs aren't healthy, they'll be worthless." The woman waved him off. "Relax, I'll make sure they're well fed and exercised. Chief will get what he wants." Prosper's blood ran cold. She realized they were being kept alive for organ harvesting. That night, she whispered to the other girls in the bathroom, "Don't eat too much. If we look too healthy, they'll use us." The girls nodded, terrified. Faith's second court appearance brought hope. Her lawyer presented the video recording which showed Faith in her hostel during the time Prosper went missing. Her roommates also testified, confirming that she had been with them. The prosecutor tried to discredit the evidence, but the judge seemed convinced. "This is a strong alibi," she said, "but we still need to find Prosper." Faith's parents wept with relief. For the first time, it felt like they were making progress. One night, Prosper's father received a call from an unknown number. "I know where your daughter is," the voice said. "Come quickly and don't tell anyone." Desperate, he gathered a group of armed men and followed the directions. At the mansion, chaos erupted as gunshots rang out. Guards shouted orders, and the girls screamed as they tried to escape. Prosper ran toward the commotion, ignoring the pain in her injured arm. She saw her father in the crowd of armed men and collapsed into his arms. "Papa," she whispered before fainting. The raid led to the rescue of Prosper and the other girls. The veiled woman and her associates were arrested, and the operation was exposed. In court, the three girls who sold Prosper were also brought to justice. They confessed to their crimes and were sentenced to 45 years in prison. The principal, who had been secretly involved in the trafficking ring, was sentenced to life imprisonment along with the other perpetrators. Faith was exonerated and received an apology from the school and the government. Prosper's parents compensated her family for the pain they endured. Faith and Prosper returned to school, stronger and wiser. Faith became an ambassador for justice, sharing her story to inspire others. Prosper, now proud of her name, worked to rebuild her life, never forgetting the lessons she had learned.